Okay guys, welcome back. It's me again. I'm going to try to start making little videos, not little videos, I mean more videos of some of the projects I work on, because I do a lot of things and I don't necessarily take the time to make a video or anything like that. But I thought it'd be helpful for some of you folks that are starting to try to get used to learn how to use the BN20. If you kind of see the way somebody else does it. I mean, that's how I learned everything. I'm not a what do you call it? A school trained graphic designer. I taught it to myself, just by trial and error. Man, of course, it took years of that. But anyway, so this is a logo I designed a few years back for a friend of mine, and he's wanting some logos. He wants decals. He wants maybe 50 decals, I guess. And he wants like little 3-inch decals. So because he sells guns and ammo. And when he sells something, he'd like to include a sticker. So he's a small business owner, kind of like myself. So I like to help him out wherever I can. So I've got this file. It's a vector file. So of course, if I can tear it apart and all that good stuff. Let me undo that. I can resize it to whatever size I need. I'm going to group it together, and then I'm going to come up to transform. And I'm gonna make sure he wants them about 3 inches. So I'll go ahead and put 3 inches here. The ratios are linked up there, so it's gonna automatically adjust the one down at the bottom. Well, it should, sorry. Let's scratch that. It didn't do it, look at it did. So let me undo that. Let me go back over here, go to transform, make sure that this is clicked. There we go, it's linked. So now if I change this up here to 3 inches, when we get down to the next one, it should automatically adjust. So it did. So let's go back in there. So there we go. So I'm probably gonna put a white border on this, and this is gonna be a die cut decal. So it's gonna have a shape to it. So it's not gonna be just a square or a circle. It's actually gonna have a different shape than a standard shape. So the last video I posted, I think it was just a circle. So here's something that's a little more detailed, and you'll get to see kind of how I work through that. So looking at it right now, the artboard is this white space in the back. It's not big enough. If I were to save this right now, without putting any cut lines or any perf cut lines on it, and bring it into VersaWorks, it's only gonna capture what's in this square, because that's how Versa works with Adobe Illustrator. I don't know about Corel Draw or any of these other apps, but anytime I'm talking about things, I'm going to be talking about it with Adobe Illustrator. So I need to go over here and change the artboard settings. So I'm just going to use it by eye. I'm not going to be exact. Give myself enough space so I can create a border around this. And I think that's good enough for me. Did I group this all? Yeah, I grouped it all together. So there we go. So here's the logo to the size I need it. So now I just need to add the web address at the bottom, which is going to be www.ogletreeordnance.com. And do I want this font? Let's see if maybe there's a different font that'll help. Doesn't have to be all caps. We want to be able to recognize what the name is. I'm gonna look for a stencil type font. Maybe like that military stencil. Sorry, this is taking a little bit. I know I could just type it in, but I always like to kind of scroll through, and maybe something else will jump at me. Nope. Stencil, so that looks fitting, right? Military looking, or ordnance looking. And I'll make it that big, that'll be good. I'm gonna create outlines, Control-Shift-O, that's for your Illustrator users. That just makes these things shapes now. They're no longer text. I can't change that into a O or anything, it's a shape. It's 3 shapes right there, 1, 2, 3. They're grouped together, so there we go. Now I need to create the cut line. Well, let me group this together, group. I need to create a cut line because this is going to be a die cut decal, and I want it to have nice curved edges. That way it peels easy and it cuts real nice. This decal is going to be 3 inches wide, so let me show you how I do it. So I make a copy of whatever it is I have. I'm going to make a new layer, keep that one on that layer. I'm going to hide this layer. I'm going to go to the new layer, do a Control Paste V, that puts it right over the existing one. And then for this bottom part here, I'm going to remove that and just add a block above it, because that block is going to be part of the cut line. So, and I want nice even space around that. We'll do it like that, and then in Illustrator you get the ability to round the corners, so I'm going to round them a little bit to get another smooth look, and then I'm going to fill it back up. I come over here, I'm going to click on this, and I want it all to be black. You'll see why here in a second. So there's basically the fill of the outline. So I'm just going to do this section. Yeah, this section. So I'm going to go to my Pathfinder and merge everything. Merge. Actually, I don't need this anymore. Let me ungroup this and get rid of this. Now remember, I still have the original logo under here, so it didn't go anywhere. Now I'm going to join these two together. Group. I'm going to merge them. So now they're one shape. Let me do that. Let me get rid of the color on the inside there. Or just create one color. Black. So now it's all black. Even these little sections under here. And then we again go to the Pathfinder. It keeps covering up. There it is. Merge it all together. So now I have an outline. See that? But I don't want it cut in that exact outline because it's not, you know, it may be slightly off-centered. You know, the BN20 sometimes isn't as accurate as we'd like it to be, so I like to give it a bleed. And it's going to have a white border around it anyway, so you won't see this black line. Actually, this would be the cut line. Sorry, in pink. So which looks like a good shape. I probably want to get rid of these little sections over here so I don't have any holes cutting in. But we're gonna make this the cut line. So basically what I did is I made the outline of that, and now I'm gonna expand the stroke on this. So click on that layer, go over to my stroke tab there and watch. So now it's getting thicker. So imagine that's gonna be the cut edge. And with the stroke, you can round the corners to where it smooths everything out. And just for fun, I'm gonna fill in the inside so you can kind of see what the actual cutting is gonna look like. So there's a lot of little divots in here. I'll probably go through and get rid of those just to make it just even a more smooth cut. I'm probably even get rid of this one right here that's in the center. Let me zoom in on that. Probably even get rid of this one in the center, and then these little ones right here. See how it kind of dips in right there? You can kind of see them circling. It's that way on the other side too. So let me show you how I do that. I really appreciate you sticking to the video this far. I know it's probably already getting kind of long. So I'm going to expand this. If you're familiar with Illustrator, you know what that's doing. It's basically going to make that all one shape, broken up in sections. If you look at it, it's got 3 little sections there. And then when I click merge, it just merges everything all together. So now that's one shape again. So now look at that. If I wanted to, I could go ahead and send this to the machine, and that could be my decal. But I don't like all these little cuts in here. Those are really unnecessary. Usually what I'll do is I'll kind of go in here and just delete them one by one. I know that seems tedious, but I'll click on the pen tool and then just reconnect everything. But really, when there isn't too many, it doesn't take that long. zoom in so you can see it a little better from my little crappy angle. So yeah, I'm clicking on that one, just deleting it, coming over here and joining, click on the anchor, join it with the other anchor. So now it's got it CC. Now I have a straight line going there, and I probably could have deleted the whole top line and created another line, but, and actually that's what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna get rid of this down here. I don't want to mess with this, the machine cutting in this section between the L and the E. So I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna click on each point over here and get rid of those points. So I'm gonna highlight this and delete that. There was one there. So okay, so now I don't know if you can see that, but I'm gonna click on this anchor and then all the way over here and click on that anchor. Now it's joined. And around that corner a little bit, and around this corner a little bit. The more rounded edges you have, the better it's going to cut. If you have corners, as you know, the machine doesn't like those, and it's gonna do jagged things and jack stuff up. So I try to go in and just get rid of any sharp pointy edges that I see, just to make sure that everything's gonna cut smoothly. Machine's not gonna jam up, and I'll be able to have a pleasant experience printing decals, and I'll want to continue printing decals. See how everything's rounded? You don't have to make it that sharp, just a little bit rounded. Same thing with that one. You just don't want the sudden jagged edge. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this little corner too. And then, let's see, this one. Maybe like that. And let's get rid of that little corner, and then I'm gonna join these two right here. See how that works out. That's not really lined up. Sorry. Just kind of eyeballing this, but again, make it curved. There we go. Oh, one more. Let's curve that, get that nice little curve. And this one's not so bad, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it just a little bit. There we go. Same thing with these. I'm gonna click on the corner here. And this is a feature of Illustrator that it has that helps you round some of these edges, and it gets rid of the sharp edges. So when you go to cut, it'll cut smoothly. And typically, once I get this done, I'll send a proof to whoever it is I'm making these for, and let them know that that pink line is going to be the edge of their decal. And if they're cool with that, I'll go ahead and print them. So I think this looks good. I'm actually going to adjust this over here. Let me ungroup that. Make it just a little bit bigger. Too big. That's pretty good. So, and then kind of center it back in that little spot right there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and save this as a decal. I'm gonna adjust my artboard. So the extra white space that you see like right here, that's gonna be picked up by VersaWorks as print space. It's gonna think that's part of the decal. So you wanna get your artboard as small as you can, but not right on the line, because a lot of times it'll actually miss the cut line. If you pull it down right on this line right here, it'll miss that cut line and won't cut correctly. So just get as close as you can. That'll save you material. Sometimes you new guys, when you're pulling some artwork in there, you notice there's all this white space around this logo, and when you go to print it, you can only put so many on there when you should be able to put more than just the one or whatever. So okay, this is good to go. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take the phones, because I only need one hand now. We will save as a PDF. All right, click save, let it commodulate. It's taking a little bit, right, because it's such a big file. There it goes. And I like to choose press quality, say PDF. Now I'm going to go into VersaWorks. I didn't know it was closed. Somebody closed it. Now that VersaWorks is open, BN20 is ready to print. I do have some low levels on some things, but I've got a whole new set of inks down here. I'll put those in as needed. This update popped up. I'm not going to do that right now, so I'll hit cancel. I don't know if you knew you could do this. It'll let you pick next launch after 1 day, after 1 week, after 1 month, whatever. I'll just do it next launch because these updates take a while sometimes. So I'm gonna go ahead and add job to queue. Let's go to where I saved it. It was Ogletree Ordnance folder, right? O comes after, there it is. There's my decal, click open. Wait for it to pull in. Oh, it did pull in, sorry. See it over here on the right? There's the other one I had. I've got 2 of them in QA, so let me delete. Sorry about that. So once you pull it in, you can come over here and look at your settings. And you should see this A with the box around it. That means you have a contour cut. It's not a perf cut, it's a contour cut. So I need to do a perf cut. Now that I'm thinking about it, I want the perf cut. So I'm gonna delete that and say yes. I'm gonna go back into Illustrator, click on my outline. Let me unlock my layer. Click on my outline and go over here to my little swatches and do the PerCutContour. See what I did there? I didn't come over here and switch the box, swatch box. So let me flip that around and then just clear that one out. Now I got my perf cut, and all I have to do is just go to save, and it'll save over that other one. And go back into VersaWorks. Let's pull it back into the queue. Should still be at the folder that I was last left it at. Now there it is. So now when you look at that little box, it's got that dotted square around it. So that means it's recognizing the PerCutContour setting swatch. That means it worked. So when you get ready to print it, it should recognize that and do the PerCutContour. So let me get the media width. Goes down to 858. So it looks like I can probably put, I'm just testing right now. So I'm just gonna do 2, center them on the media. I know that probably wastes some of the material, but I don't care. I'm testing it, and you know, I want to be sure that everything works. So there it is. I'm gonna pick just the generic glossy standard vinyl because it's the Roland. Well, not generic. It's the Roland vinyl. Going to the cut tool. So here's where I talked about in one of my last videos, the cutting condition settings. So I'm gonna click on this, and it's gonna ungray everything that's below that. Then you'll have the option to adjust the setting. So cutting speed, I'm gonna slow it down to 5 centimeters per second. Cutting force, I'm gonna increase it to 75. That's just something I always do. And then blade offset, I don't ever mess with that. I just leave that alone. Perforation length. So this decal is gonna be 3 inches wide and probably almost 2 inches tall. Maybe 1.25 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my perf at 3. Nah, I'll just leave it at 2 because it's gonna have to go and cut around on some of these edges. So if I make the cut 3 inches, so it's 3 inches across here, so it's gonna move. Oh, I'll scratch my screen. It's gonna move 3 inches before it stops and picks up and then goes back down and then moves again. So I don't know if I want it moving like that so fast around this part. So maybe I'll just do it 2 inches. So maybe it'll move like this, pick up, come down, come like this, pick up and come down. But again, it's going slower, so it should cut better anyway. So I'm gonna leave it at 2 inches. Perforation force, I'm gonna go ahead and bump it up to 200 from 170. And the half cut length, I'm still gonna leave the same. So that's it, and then I'll click OK. I've got these two. This material I have in here is just, it's the roll, and I'm gonna switch it out when I actually print the decals, but we'll see how that goes. So I'll go ahead and send it to print. I'll let it print, and then I'll do that off camera, and then when it's done, or when it starts to cut, I will I'll come back in. Okay, looks like it finished printing, so now it's gonna start cutting. We'll kind of watch this. See how it bound up the material a little bit? So it's cutting kind of deep. So when it gets to that one spot around the crosshair, it might try to tear it up or something. We'll see what it does. Yeah, see that corner? So I may even want to slow it down even more. That's still too fast. So really what I should have done is just did a test cut first, just to see how it would go. So it's going too fast. Yep, it's binding up. And that's kind of how I figured out. You know, I have to mess with it, see how it cuts, and adjust it. So I'm thinking it is going too fast, or maybe the pressure's too hard. I don't know. I just like I said, it's trial and error. But it's obviously messing it up because it hit the bottom of it, and you can see the ink there from it touching the image itself. So maybe I don't do a die cut decal like that. Maybe I just do a shaper on it. Who knows? See, look, it's binding up. I gotta stop it. No, looks like it made it. All right, we'll let it come out. And that's a perfect example how sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So look at that. It really, it went through though. But I just need to maybe slow it down, or maybe if I use a thicker material, we'll see. I'm gonna switch the material out to a better material and see if that changes anything. So I'm back over here. So now I'm just gonna send it. I'm just gonna do one. Yeah, let me just do one, and I'm gonna print it in a draft print, and go back to my cut control. So maybe cutting force doesn't need to be so. I switched the material out. It's got IJ35 from 3M. I think it cuts. We'll see how it cuts through that. I'll just leave the settings the same. Let's just do a cutting pass and not print, just to see what it does, and move it over to the left. So we'll go to cut controls, and we're just gonna test. We're just cutting only. So I'm gonna hit OK. Choose yes. It'll change the rip. Let's go over here and see what it does. All right, cut settings were left the same, but I switched the material, and it's just doing the cut only. Seems to be like it did a little better. It didn't didn't seem like it bound up on that. Yeah, I still don't like how it's coming out. I mean, it worked. Let's pop it out. Sorry. That one actually worked a whole lot better. So maybe I will. Maybe I will try it. Let's try printing some. We'll print them on draft. Just to test it out. Let's do 4. We'll kind of space them out a little bit. We'll do print and cut, and then actually watch. I will save my material and center on the media. Or maybe I can bump it over. Oh yeah, I'm gonna bump it over all the way to the right by adjusting the x-axis. Right there. So now I can pull this back. Put that where I had it before, so when it starts printing, it won't print on that. It'll print to the right of it. Just trying to save some material. All right. Let's hit OK. And then print. And then we'll be back. Just to show you, sorry for the glare. See it cleared that where one was cut out and it's printing all the way over to this other side. So I saved that material. All right, it's gonna start cutting. I'll just video one, so we won't have to watch every single one of them, but we'll see when it gets done with the other 3. We'll see how it goes. Looks like it wants to cut it. It's not really binding up like it did with that other material, so that just shows you that the different material really does make a difference. And I think this is a better quality material compared to the Roland brand that I was using. This is 3M brand. And then I'm sure Oracle 651 probably acts different as well. Probably more the same to this 3M. All right, it finished, so let's see. Looks pretty clean, didn't smudge anything or any of that, so let me let that dry a little bit and then I'll pop them out and we'll see how it looks. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and try to pop these out. Yep, that one worked. Set that over there, let's do another one. It's coming out pretty good. Over there, pop this other one out. Over there, and the last one. Oh, I dropped it. Trying not to touch the ink because it's probably still kind of wet. There we go. So it looks like that worked out. So I'm happy with that. This guy customer wants about 50 of these, so I'll I know some people leave it on draft and print on draft, but I still print on the regular setting. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think it came out pretty good. Again, you kind of witnessed my trial and error with the decals and how they sometimes come out the way we want, and then sometimes not so much. So there's the original one on the bottom. I mean, you can see that it had some issues in some spots over there in top left corner. It kind of bound up and didn't cut cleanly like it should have. Over here, you can see the difference. And then I dug it up. I threw it away and dug it out of the trash. That's why the ink is kind of jacked up on it. But once you, like I said, trial and error, once you figure it out and get it working the way you want, it doesn't print as fast as the big commercial printers, but this is not meant to be like those printers. This is for somebody that is trying to see if this is something that they want to get into. So, and then here's the roll that it was on. The other one that was on, that it actually didn't finish cutting. It had trouble right here. The blade totally missed that spot right there. So that's it. Sorry the video was so long, but I wanted to, kind of show my process and how I do things. Thanks for watching, and please, please, please subscribe. Like and subscribe. Thank you.